everybody, Binky Tunny here. So, for those of you who have been on my Facebook feed, you'll notice I'm wearing the exact same clothes that I was wearing in my video yesterday. It's 'cause we're in the middle of a pandemic, duh. But since the Umecra Novice clinic and everything got canceled this weekend, so we all don't fall over and die, I decided that maybe I would take this time to go over the competitive sheet, which is also the novice sheet, and so to do like the comp score sheet demystified, like demystify it for you. So if you're into that, check this out. Okay, so the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to get to the ride and you're going to do your vet in. Generally, they start with pulse and respiration, and usually Titan's a little worked up and crazy, so his pulse is a little bit high. So we'll give him a 12 and then a 6 for respiration. These don't count in your final placing or your final scoring. They just, the vets want to make sure your horse is not in distress, because if your horse's pulse is at 40, they're probably going to be rushing him to the hospital instead of to the starting line. And then body condition, Titan always gets a 6. Once again, this has nothing to do with your final score or placing. It's just gives you sort of a general idea of where the horse is at. So if your body condition is a 1, chances are the vets are not going to let you ride. Then this stuff over here is also not considered in scoring, but the vets want to get a nice baseline to make sure your horse is fit to compete and fit to go on. Usually, Titan's pretty good. Starts out with all A's. Sometimes he finishes with all A's too. Anywho, so you're going to get all that stuff done, and then you're going to do a trot out. So you're going to go straight up, and you make a circle one way, then you're going to make a circle the other way, and then you're going to come back. And while you're doing that, the vet's going to note some observations. So he might write some crazy stuff down here, like, let's see, nose and tail up with rider. And usually Titan's a little choppy at the beginning because he's all wound up. Now, let's say during this process he tries to bite the vet. If the vet's really a nice person, you might only get 1 point off for that. So this is manners. Usually for most people, they don't have any manners incidents. Me and Titan will have one occasionally. Usually it's minor points off. Okay. So another thing that you're going to establish pre-ride is if the horse has any lesions, bites, cuts, any ouchies anywhere. So make sure to point those out for the vet. We'll pretend that Titan has a bite here on his neck, and maybe he's got a little cut here on his left front. So you definitely want to point out anything that the vet doesn't catch, because you can lose points later if it's not annotated on your sheet. Then we'll go to legs. Generally, you want to start a ride with no pain in the left front, left hind, right hind. Don't want any heat. But if you had a long trailer ride, or if your horse has been standing still all night, you might have a little bit of filling. So we'll give Titan 1s all the way around for a little bit of filling. They're also going to check random pain in your horse's back, shoulders, anything else, that sort of thing. So we'll say maybe we've been having trouble with saddle fitting, and maybe his back hurts a little bit. We'll give him a 5 there. But his shoulders are fine, nothing else, it's all good. And then, the trot out. So you do your trot out, the vet makes the notes. Here's what's really important though. You want to make sure that your horse is not lame. Like if it's got a little bit of grade 1 lameness pre-ride, that's okay, you can still go, but anything other than that, it's going to be bad news bears. And here, fatigue attitude, they're probably going to start out pretty hyped up. So we'll just give Titan all good zeros all the way around there. All right, so if we're doing this for a novice competition, you're pretty much usually only going to have one additional pulse and respiration, and that'll be at the end of the ride. If you're doing competitive, this will be your midway vet check, and then this will be the end. If there's any surprise vet checks along the way, that's why all these boxes are here. But for this video, we'll just make sure that we're sticking with the novices. So after the ride, Titan's pulse usually comes down quite a bit. So he'll be at probably a 9 and a 3 for respiration. Well, what does that mean? So for pulse, we take this 9, look over on the chart, that's a 0, 0 points off. For respiration, he's at a 3, look at the chart for respiration, and that's 2 points off. So we'll put a 2 there. And then final pulse and respiration over there. So if you follow this number over here, we're just going to add it to this box because that's your P&R deduct. Let's say when you're doing your trot out at the end of the ride, he's just a little tired and maybe he's got a little bit of a something going on in his right front, but only on the turns. You'll get 5 points off there and 5 points off there for a total of 10 on the trot deduct. Then we'll do legs. So once again, we'll say no pain, no heat, but he's got a 2 for fill in the right front. But the other legs have gone down real good. So what does this mean? You get 0 here, 0 here, 0 here, 0 here. Now at the beginning of the ride, he had 1 for fill in the right front, and at the end of the ride, he had 2 for fill in the right front. So that gives you a 1 because it went up from the starting point. If it was a 0 here, he would get a 2. Here and here, you're like, oh, he should get 2 points extra credit. Nope, you only get points off, never extra credit points. So this 2 is a 0. So his total leg deduct will be 1. And let's see, post-ride. I guess that saddle really didn't fit. So now we're at a 6 for pain. But since we started at a 5 and he only went up to a 6, you'll get a 1 there. Shoulders are fine. Nothing else hurting him. We'll say he got 1 extra lesion. Let's say he kind of hurt that right front right there. And that's the reason for the filling and a little bit of lameness. So that'll be 1 there. And so your total for muscle deduct is going to be a 2. Now let's say they gave us 2.5 hours for the ride, and we came in at 2 hours and 36 minutes. They take 1 point off per minute, so that'll be 1. But you're like, you came in 6 minutes late. Why do you only get 1 point? It's because there's a 5-minute window. So 5 minutes before or 5 minutes after, they don't count any time penalties. But after that, it's 1 point per minute. Boots. We didn't wear any boots, so we're going to take 0 points off for that. However, if your horse has like brushing problems or, needs a splint boot, or else you're going to have filling or you're going to have extra lesions, just wear the boots and take the 2 points off per leg. Also to clarify, the boot points are not for those fancy newfangled horsey tennis shoes. They are for leg boots. So regular hoof boots, fine. Leg boots, you get 2 points off. And then down here, there's the manners. We got 1 point off at the beginning. He decided not to bite the vet at the end, so that's good. So then we're going to take this total here for miscellaneous deduct. And then you got to do some math. So we've got 2 plus 10 is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we start with 400 points minus our 17 points off. And we end up with a 483. So final score, 483. Our total, oop, you can't see that, 483. Our total deduct was 17. And I'm going to say we came in first place. Woohoo, number 1. Anywho, I think that covers it. So hopefully comp is not so scary anymore. Maybe novice, not so scary anymore. Hope so. Just give it a shot. This is how you read your sheet, but you'll have questions and then someone will be there to help you understand. Happy trails!